All right, guys, I know we just went off air, but now we're back on with you. A new tornado warning just issued with those areas that we've been watching coming out of Henry County, moving into southern Rockdale County and Newton County. This is our latest tornado warning that we just got in from the National Weather Service as we're seeing these storms there that are firing up. Where we have this tornado warning that is in effect that is going to be from these storms there over along I-20 that you see right here. There's Conyers and Covington. Now the cities of Conyers and Covington, you're not in it. These are just some markers here I want you to know about along I-20. This is south of I-20 with these cells here that are just popping up there in those areas of Newton County and the southern parts of Rockdale County. Let me put this tornado warning up so you can see what we're talking about here. This is for Newton and Rockdale until 9:45. Now it's a really small part of Rockdale, just the southeastern part of Rockdale right here, where this warning is in effect, and then it goes into this area of Newton County. Let's put it on velocity because we want to kind of point out here what we're watching. Danielle has been keeping an eye on some of those storms where we were seeing. Now again, there's nothing really outstanding with this. They're saying here, the Weather Service, is that this rotation, and I'm looking off screen here because I'm seeing what they're telling us, that this was over Oak Hill, 9 miles south of Conyers, moving east at 35 miles an hour. So it would be in this area right here between Magnet and Bethany Road where we see this potential rotation right in here along Highway 212, moving over to the east. This is this latest tornado warning that we have. Again, not a classic red and green type of rotation that we often see here in our velocity mode. But I want to take a look at a couple of things. This is our shear and our shear tracks, and we're not seeing anything major showing up there, but I also want to look at our correlation coefficient. This is the part that's interesting right here, where we see some of the changes in the colors here from this Magnet Browns Bridge Road area that could indicate the potential for some lofted debris there near that rotation, which would indicate maybe some debris flying up in the air from the ground, which would help us try to confirm a rotation. Now, they have not confirmed that this is a tornado here, but it's so far radar indicated moving to the east at about 30 miles an hour for that area here. With that potential rotation. Danielle has also been watching our debris finder. We were seeing some signals there a little bit earlier of some other stuff. So let me show you this. I'm going to put this into motion. Again, the debris finder is kind of not as always easy to see here, but what we look for is just some changes there in the colors here, and that could be some debris from that storm. Again, not confirmed, but just what we are seeing here on our radar imagery from that system moving through. Here's Magnet right now, Smith Store Road, Brown Bridge Road, Flat Shoals Road. This polygon here is where we have that tornado warning. This is south of I-20. There's Allman up here, and there's Covington. So Covington, you're not in that red polygon. You're not in the actual warning, but let me widen out excuse me, a little bit more so you can see what we're talking about. Here is Atlanta right here. This is out I-20 and then south of I-20, right in this area here. Southern Rockdale County. Conyers is right up here, all right, closer to I-20. It's in this part right here where we're seeing that potential rotation that is moving now. In fact, I would think they're going to be taking Rockdale out of this warning soon because the potential rotation now is pretty much pushing over into the far western parts of Newton County. This is south of Covington, just south of I-20 here, where we see this potential rotation that's moving through. And this is all part of these storms that were exhibiting rotation earlier back into parts of Henry County and into parts of Clayton County, where we had some additional tornado warnings earlier, and in parts of Fayette County and Spalding County. All along that line, we have been seeing indicators here from radar of rotation, and they've been generally brief, what we classify as brief spin-ups, where they just gradually and briefly spin up, cause some rotation, and then a couple of scans later, that rotation goes away. But with this situation, we're still watching that potential rotation here along this. Now, some of that, we have a discrete cell that is up ahead of that was moving into Covington right now along I-20. So that was an interesting cell right there that's now moving out of that polygon area. But then this is what we're watching right now, moving out of Rockdale into Newton County, where we see that potential rotation that is moving on through. And again, this is generally just south of I-20. So New Bern, you are not included in this warning right now, but this leading edge is about to move into your area, and as it does, we'll be having to watch for the rotation there. So this is moving, Danielle, that speed, I'm going by memory, was it 30, 35 miles an hour?
I think it was 35.
Danielle's going to confirm that, and I'm going to do a time of arrival for this spot right here.
30 miles an hour.
That we're watching to the east at 30 miles an hour.
Yep.
So that would take that storm into these areas here for the time of arrival that we're watching. If that is holding together, it would be into High Point at 922, which is really just outside of that polygon. If it keeps moving in that direction around 922, and then still outside that polygon, it would be in New Bern at around 941. If it made it to Rutledge, it would be 952, and then to the Brownwood area at 957. But again, High Point, New Bern, Rutledge, Brownwood, that is outside of that red polygon. Just the only areas that we're watching here would be toward High Point and Starrsville, at around 926 potentially, as those storms would, if this holds together, that would be moving into those spots. So let's get in tighter here. Oh, there's a new one right there too on the north side, Danielle, that just came in here.
Yeah, that's the area that they were watching for. I also have a camera right in that area on Max 3. Marcos, if you want to pull that up, it's I-20 in Conyers.
Okay.
Eastbound.
So before you go to that, let me show you this newest warning. So we have two now polygons. This is what we were watching earlier there along, coming from Conyers there into Newton County here. And that's getting closer to Social Circle, which is right over here. So this is right along I-20. We have this warning south of I-20, now a new warning along I-20 and north of that. So let's go to that camera right now on Max 3, if you could, Marcos. This is, oh, look at that lightning there. This is along I-20 there at Conyers at State Route 2138. Where you see the cars that are moving along the road there on 20 with their flashing lights on. They're slowing down. You can see the heavy rain coming down there right now. There's ponding on the roadways. You can see the spray coming up behind that 18-wheeler as it moves through. Look at the lightning that is pushing through that area right now. So Danielle is monitoring this camera, as this is the area along I-20 where we are seeing this potential rotation there in the Conyers area. Let's go back to the radar because I want to get a closer look at this.
Say check your CCs.
For that one right there?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the correlation coefficient here. So really, we're seeing some spots here near Allman with a little bit of the debris potential signature there. Also watching these colors up here around Dialtown, where, and sometimes the lofted debris may be shifted a little bit from where the actual rotation is taking place. Let me look at the shear now as well. We're not seeing anything coming up with there, and now back to velocity, and not a real clear, crystal clear view there of these potential areas of rotation. But this one right here around I-20, right in this area, and I'm thinking that rotation would now be maybe a little bit north of I-20 as I-20 kind of goes down a little bit. This rotation may be a little bit on the north side. That will be crossing over Highway 81 in just a little bit. This is for Newton and Rockdale County until 9:45. So two areas of rotation that we're watching.